what's called a joiner, which is just a big knot, big plane. Yep. You put it upside down, got a stand, and
keep that vertical.
what? No, so I'm making these exactly vertical at the bottom, but if we were making any given container, I got some good stuff outside. The angle is different for each one. And the blade being, no, the blade is straight. So you yes, and that's how this creates. If you don't, there's no plans, there's no description. That's not how trades work. Today, modern trades, yeah, you learn.
The dishwasher. Except the human dishwasher.
This is because, again, I'm not starting off with a square piece of wood, right?
Yeah.
Oftentimes they're going to actually start off with logs. They have sawmills in the 1700s, but not everywhere, and they're water powered. So most of your boards are just going to be split out by hand.
How do you sharpen your blade?
I take it out and just use a stone. Yeah, they had
like a turning stone.
Turning stone, flat stones. They even have, if I'm working on an edge that's really rough, they even have metal files back then. They had these since like the 1400s or even further back in time, really.
I had to.
Yeah, and
how much would you shape metal?
Yep, and the blacksmith uses them quite a bit, right? He'll forge something kind of to the shape, but then he'll use his file to kind of clean up the edges and stuff. And this is a driver. The blacksmith actually just made it a few days ago, and I put a handle on it today. But this is what we use to take our containers apart, put them back together, so I can just tap these hoops down, and all everything comes apart, right?
And I would never get it back together again.
Well, it's easier if you have two people, but yeah, if you knock them all, and this is good too because over you know, a long lifetime of being on a farm or on a ship, that's what it's called. You know, stabs break on these casks. A lot of times the bunghole stab will break because it has that hole there. So you'll have to take them apart, repair them. That's something else Coopers would do.
Who makes the hoops?
The Cooper.
Cooper makes the hoops?
Yeah, that's part of the trade. The iron you would buy from a merchant, just like the blacksmith buys his iron from a merchant, and it's so thin you can cold work it.
Okay.
I can take my hammer here and add a small anvil.
We're making get all those toys out now.
Yeah, so I got a small anvil, right? That's all you need, really. They also use.
So would you
wood
cold
picks.
punch that?
Mm-hmm.
And then rivet it?
Mm-hmm. That's right. Did all that, yeah.
How would you punch it? Can you punch it here?
Well, I don't have the exact right setup here, but we're actually in the process of making a new anvil for this.
Would it have like
house.
a Pritchell hole in it or something?
It's got a little hole in it, yeah. I can round it with my hands. I don't necessarily need a horn on the anvil, but yeah, I got some punches and cold chisels in here.
Do you have to cold hammer one side to get a crescent shape out of it? So
Yes, to splay it, and that's where you make, for people that don't realize what we're talking about right now, you
It's
can see how
not flat.
one side's skinny, one side's wider. All you do is you take your cross peen hammer, and if I hit one side of this, like half of it, it'll squish it out basically, and that'll make it wider. If I do too much of an angle, I can just come back on this side and splay that side out some, yeah. And that's something that Cooper, that's part of the trade. The wooden hoops are held together. I got one right above your head, actually, sorry.
That's okay.
Yep. There's they're just held together by a little cut in the wood. You can kind of see that right there, right? Take it apart. It just
wow.
These don't last as long.
Oh, so that's not just for a guide. You would keep that on that bucket?
Some buckets never even have iron bands on it their whole life.
Wow.
The iron bands you have to buy, but like if you were a farmer and you had a bucket, maybe you never got iron bands, maybe you need to replace them, you could make these yourself. You just split saplings and cut that little joint, and you drive this on just like you would the iron hoops. You'll need more though, right? Like you couldn't just do 2. You might have to have like 10 on this bucket. Yeah.
Don't sit there.